What's going on, North Beach Deep Sea Explorers? Can let you guys in on a little secret. If you know where to look, you might find shipwrecks and treasure all over the world. A shipwreck is the name for what happens to a big boat like the ones that we saw when they get destroyed by either getting sunk in the ocean or they end up getting broken up in a storm of some sort and they can no longer sail in it. And sometimes it's because the captain or the crew don't really know what they're doing when they're sailing out there, because it can be very dangerous. You never know what you might see or what you might hit that's underneath the water, like some rocks maybe. And if you're not aware of what's going on, then your boat's going to get destroyed and it's not going to be able to keep on floating along anymore. And you can see exactly what happened to the ship. You see, look how amazing it looked, and then they got reckless and wrecked the ship. Now it's a shipwreck. And here we see the great captain captaining his ship through the water, unsuccessfully. What's super cool about shipwrecks is that although they happen almost always in the ocean, they can also happen on land, like you can see here. This ship likely came into this place, which is called a cove, which is when you have rock formations like this that go around a beach that has the ocean coming in. And a lot of captains like to bring their ship into this area to see what's going on here, maybe check out, see if they can find some treasure on the beach, explore around, and they end up sometimes bringing the boat too far in and they get what's called beached. And that's when the boat hits sand and they can't get out of the land into the water anymore, and so they're stuck here and it becomes a shipwreck. And what happens when boats become shipwrecks is the crew tends to leave behind everything that they own just to try to get out and get on another little boat that they may have and go to safety. They tend to sometimes leave behind something called treasure. And I know every single one of you have heard about treasure. And when boats get shipwrecked in the ocean, there's just so much treasure left behind that no one thinks about taking, and it's just sitting there. And so who knows, maybe one day some of you will go out and find some buried treasure in the middle of the ocean and come back with all the gold coins that you can imagine. A lot of boats a long time ago used these coins to buy things from other people across the world, and the only way that they could get to them was by ship, sailing on the ocean. And when maybe a storm hits or they just think, I don't really like this boat anymore, they just decide to leave it, it ends up sinking eventually in the ocean, leaving behind all the money they had. And they used gold coins back then, and you know, they're gold coins, so who doesn't want them? Once upon a time, it was the captains, sailors, even pirates that made ships their homes. But now, since they've abandoned it, it's fish that make it their homes in the ocean. They swim around with their families, with their schools, eating and just living the best lives that they can with the new ship that they just happened to come across. And you wouldn't believe what else makes it their home. Sharks. Believe it or not, sharks. I guess they'll always just find somewhere to be, you know? And one really cool thing too is that shipwrecks, they happen everywhere in the world, and that includes right here in San Francisco. There's a shipwreck right on the beach. I repeat, there's a shipwreck right on the beach called the King Philip Wreck. And maybe someday, when you're big and tough, you can go see it for yourselves and see what one of those big ships that we saw has become after 200 years. And this boat came right onto the beach and just crashed and stayed there for so long. And it's amazing that you can still see it. And even with that, you can see all these ships that were once right outside the city they became a part of the city. A long time ago, they used the shipwrecks that they found to build on top of the city. So everywhere you go, whenever you're walking, you look around at your feet, there could be a shipwreck right underneath. Maybe even in Michelangelo's sand pit, there could be a shipwreck right underneath all that sand. If you just keep digging long enough, you might find something, maybe even some treasure with it. So next time you're walking around, just imagine all the ships that are right underneath your feet, maybe even in the water that people have yet to find, and thinking about that, all the treasure that people have forgotten back then. And later on, you should watch this video of a real guy exploring a real shipwreck in the ocean, finding an unbelievable thing, and you'll just have to wait and see for yourself.